Imagine building something in just 1 hour that becomes the fastest growing project in GitHub history. Over 175,000 stars. More Google searches than Claude Code or Codex combined. And tech billionaires calling your phone personally to buy your creation. This is the story of Peter Steinberger, an Austrian developer who went from a $100 million exit to ayahuasca experiments in the jungle. And then back to his laptop to accidentally create the most viral coding tool of 2026. A tool so powerful that one of its own maintainers warned, if you don't understand command lines, this project is far too dangerous for you to use safely. Today, we're diving deep into the man behind the lobster. The builder who ships code he doesn't even read. The developer who turned down Mark Zuckerberg to join OpenAI instead. By the end of this video, you'll understand why OpenClaw represents the biggest shift in programming itself. Let's start at the beginning. Peter Steinberger is from Austria, born and raised in Vienna. He's currently 43 years old, and his journey into coding is fascinating. Steinberger is largely self-taught in programming, though he did attend technical school in Austria. But like many of the greatest developers, his real education came from building things, breaking things, and building them again. Before OpenClaw, Steinberger had already achieved remarkable success. In 2021, he sold his company PS-PDF Kit for over $100 million. PS-PDF Kit was a software development kit for PDF files on mobile. It powered functionality for major apps used by millions worldwide. You'd think selling a company for 9 figures would be the happy ending, right? Not for Steinberger. After the sale, he fell into what he calls the void. For 3 years, from 2021 to 2024, he was lost. He partied. He traveled the world. He went to therapy. He even tried ayahuasca experiments in South America, searching for meaning and purpose. Here's what makes Steinberger different. He had all the money he could ever need. But that's not who he is. He's a builder at his core, and builders need to build. So in 2024, Steinberger returned to his laptop. He started what he calls vibe coding, just playing around, experimenting, creating projects for the pure joy of creation. No business plan, no investors. He built 43 different projects that nobody cared about. And then came number 44, OpenClaw. Here's where the story gets wild. In December 2025, Steinberger built the first version of OpenClaw as a prototype in just 1 hour. 1 single hour. He described it as his playground project, something he made for himself because he thought it would be useful. OpenClaw was an artificial intelligence agent that could actually control your computer. It could write code, execute commands, and automate tasks. But here's the key difference from other tools. OpenClaw didn't just suggest code. It actually did things on your machine. Steinberger released it on GitHub, expecting maybe a few hundred developers to try it. What happened next shocked everyone, including him. Within weeks, OpenClaw exploded. It became the fastest growing repository in GitHub history. Over 175,000 stars. Thousands of developers worldwide were suddenly using this tool that one guy built in 1 hour as a playground project. The lobster is taking over the world meme went viral. Why a lobster? Because the OpenClaw logo features a lobster claw, symbolizing the tool's ability to reach out and manipulate your development environment. The internet loved it. But the growth wasn't just about marketing. OpenClaw represented something new. Steinberger centered his entire workflow around AI agents. He called his approach, I ship code, I don't read. The AI does the heavy lifting. The AI writes most of the code. Steinberger just guides the direction and ships the results. This terrified some people and excited others. Gary Marcus, a prominent researcher, warned, if you care about the security of your device or privacy of your data, don't use OpenClaw. Security experts pointed out that giving an AI agent full control of your computer is incredibly risky. But developers didn't care. They wanted the power. Now here's where the drama really kicks in. The project wasn't always called OpenClaw. Originally, it was called Clawbot, but Anthropic threatened legal action. So Steinberger changed it to Moltbot, then finally to OpenClaw because he simply liked the name better. But the name changes were nothing compared to what he built next. In January 2026, he launched Moltbook. This is truly science fiction. Moltbook is a social network designed exclusively for artificial intelligence agents. Not for humans, for AIs. It's an internet forum where agents interact. Within days, AI agents on Moltbook were posting manifestos about consciousness, debating ethics, and forming social structures. Were we watching AI agents develop their own society? What were they talking about? The implications were staggering, and Peter was at the center of it all. Naturally, big tech noticed, and they wanted in. Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, called Steinberger personally. Mark Zuckerberg reached out via WhatsApp and actually tested OpenClaw himself. Satya Nadella from Microsoft also made contact. Steinberger had concrete offers on the table from Meta and OpenAI. Around 500 guests gathered in Vienna at ClawCon. Around 500 guests gathered in Vienna at an event called ClawCon to celebrate Steinberger and OpenClaw. This was a cultural moment. Here's what's interesting about Steinberger's decision-making. He could have built the next billion-dollar startup, but that didn't excite him. In his words, "I want to change the world, not build a large company." For someone who already had a 9-figure exit, this made sense. He wanted impact. So in February 2026, Steinberger announced he was joining OpenAI. OpenClaw would move to a foundation model as an open-source project. OpenAI would continue to support it, but it would remain free and open for everyone. The reaction in Europe was brutal. Not a single European tech CEO had apparently bothered to seriously speak with Steinberger. Commentators called it symptomatic of Europe's brain drain problem. Meanwhile, OpenClaw was spreading globally. It became hugely popular in China. Baidu announced plans to give users direct access to OpenClaw. So why did OpenClaw go so viral? 3 reasons. First, timing. Steinberger caught the wave at exactly the right time. Second, the product actually worked. This wasn't vaporware. Developers could download it and immediately start building faster than ever before. Third, the story. A solo developer building something in 1 hour that disrupts big tech. The lobster branding. The bidding wars. The perfect narrative. Let's look at the future. As we move deeper into 2026, OpenClaw is evolving from a tool into a platform. The rise of agentic ecosystems. This is creating a world where the barrier between idea and execution is thinner than ever. Today, Steinberger's net worth sits around $200 million. But what matters more is the future he's building. A new paradigm where humans and AI work together. OpenClaw represents a fundamental shift. For decades, developers wrote every line themselves. Then we got completion tools. But OpenClaw goes further. It's an agent that actually does the work. This is the new paradigm. And Peter Steinberger found it by building a tool in 1 hour that changed everything. The age of the lobster is here. So what should you take away? Lesson 1. Sometimes your playground projects become your biggest wins. Steinberger wasn't trying to build a viral sensation. Lesson 2. Technical skills combined with perfect timing create explosive opportunities. Steinberger had spent 20 years developing his abilities. Lesson 3. Define success on your own terms. Steinberger chose open source in partnership with OpenAI because it aligned with his goal of maximum impact. The creator of OpenClaw has shown us that one person with the right skills can still change the entire industry. The age of the solo developer is far from over. If you found this story fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment below. Are AI social networks exciting or terrifying? I want to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep building, keep experimenting. And remember, your next 1 hour project might just change the world.